They looked friendly on screen, but behind the scenes, the story was very different. Amanda Blake, who played Miss Kitty on Gunsmoke, was strong, bold, and full of passion. She was not afraid to show her feelings or speak the truth. In real life, she had many painful moments with people she worked with. Some of them hurt her deeply. These were not small fights. They were big, emotional battles. What you are about to see is not just Hollywood gossip. These are the names of actors Amanda Blake truly hated, and the reasons might shock you. Before we dive into video, please subscribe to our channel. Amanda Blake and James Arnes were the heart of Gunsmoke. Fans loved their chemistry. On screen, Marshall Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty shared a quiet romance that lasted 19 seasons. Off-screen, people believed they were close friends. But the truth was not so simple. Amanda felt deeply hurt by James, not because of one big fight, but because of what he did not do. As the years went by, Amanda felt pushed aside. The producers began cutting her scenes and giving her fewer lines. She was no longer treated like a lead. Amanda expected support from James. After all, they worked together for nearly 2 decades. But instead of speaking up for her, he stayed silent. That silence broke her heart. She believed James Arnes had the power to help her. He was the star of the show. If he had spoken, maybe things would have changed. But he chose not to get involved. That decision hurt more than words. Amanda felt abandoned by someone she once trusted. In interviews later, Amanda never directly attacked James, but she made it clear she was disappointed. She said the set became cold, and people she thought were friends turned their backs. Her exit from Gunsmoke in 1974 was not just about leaving a show, it was about walking away from people who let her down. The silence between them after she left spoke volumes. They never repaired their friendship. What looked like deep love on screen ended in quiet pain off it. Amanda never forgot how alone she felt when she needed support the most. James Arnes was not her enemy, but his silence made him one of the people she could never forgive. Now we talk about 6 actors he dislikes the most and why. Number 1. Milbour Stone. Amanda Blake and Milbour Stone worked side by side on Gunsmoke for nearly 2 decades. He played the kind and wise Doc Adams. On camera, their scenes felt warm and full of respect. But behind the scenes, the truth was not so friendly. Amanda believed Milbour was jealous of her popularity, and over time, their working relationship became cold and tense. Fans adored Miss Kitty. She brought heart and charm to the show. Some even said she was the soul of Gunsmoke. Amanda noticed how the attention shifted toward her, and she believed Milbour noticed it too. Instead of celebrating her success, Amanda felt he started pulling away. He became distant, and at times, openly rude. There were reports from the set that Milbour would complain about her getting more screen time or better lines. Amanda was hurt by this. She never wanted to compete. She just wanted to do good work. But Milbour made her feel like an outsider on her own show. Their tension was not loud, but it was always there. They never had a major fight, but the quiet dislike between them grew stronger each year. Amanda once said in an interview that not everyone on Gunsmoke was as kind as they pretended to be. Milbour Stone might have been a respected actor, but to Amanda Blake, he was a reminder of how fame can create bitterness, even between longtime co-stars. Number 2. James Arnes. Amanda Blake and James Arnes were the face of Gunsmoke for 19 seasons. As Miss Kitty and Marshall Matt Dillon, their on-screen relationship was full of quiet love and respect. Millions of fans hoped they were just as close in real life. But Amanda's truth was painful. James Arnes let her down when she needed him the most. In the final years of the show, Amanda began to notice something change. She was getting fewer lines, fewer important scenes, and less respect. She had helped carry Gunsmoke for almost 2 decades, but now she was being pushed aside. Amanda hoped James would speak up for her. He had power, and he had influence, but he stayed silent. Amanda did not expect him to fight her battles, but she did expect him to care. Instead, he chose to protect his own place. She felt betrayed, not because he hurt her directly, but because he stood by and watched it happen. When Amanda decided to leave Gunsmoke in 1974, she left with a heavy heart. She was not just walking away from a show, she was leaving behind a man she once trusted. The silence between them after her departure lasted for years. They never rebuilt what was lost. In interviews, Amanda never shouted or blamed James openly. But her words showed the pain. She said the set grew colder, and that those who once smiled at her stopped looking her in the eye. To Amanda, James Arnes was not the hero people thought he was. He became a silent reminder that even close bonds can break when people choose comfort over courage. Number 3. Bert Reynolds. Bert Reynolds joined Gunsmoke in the early 1960s as blacksmith Quint Asper. He was young, charming, and full of ambition. At first, Amanda Blake welcomed him warmly. She respected new talent and wanted the cast to feel like a family. But it did not take long before things turned sour between them. Amanda felt that Bert treated the show, and the people on it, with little respect. He joked too much, showed up late, and acted like he was already a big star. She believed he was not serious about his role, and that he looked down on others who had worked hard for years. The real pain came from the way he spoke about the show after leaving. Bert left Gunsmoke in 1965 to chase movie fame. In later interviews, he called the show limiting and made comments that Amanda found insulting. To her, Gunsmoke was not just a job, it was her life. She had given it everything. Hearing him dismiss it so casually hurt her deeply. Amanda once said that some actors think they are too good for where they came from. She never mentioned Bert by name, but it was clear who she meant. The warmth she once showed him turned into cold silence. Bert Reynolds became a Hollywood legend, but in Amanda's heart, he was someone who never respected the journey or the people who helped him take his first steps. That was something she could never forget or forgive. Number 4. Dennis Weaver. Dennis Weaver played Chester Good, the loyal deputy on Gunsmoke. For many years, he stood beside Marshall Dillon and brought heart and humor to the show. Amanda Blake and Dennis worked closely, and at one time, they shared a real friendship. But when Dennis chose to leave Gunsmoke in 1964, Amanda felt abandoned. To the world, Dennis was simply moving on to bigger roles. But to Amanda, it felt personal. She believed in loyalty, and Gunsmoke was not just a job to her, it was a family. When Dennis walked away, she saw it as turning his back on everything they had built together. After he left, Amanda noticed a shift in the atmosphere on set. The tight bond among the cast had been broken. She once said that when one person leaves, it sends a message to others, and not always a good one. Amanda felt that Dennis' decision opened the door for more selfish choices. She also did not appreciate how he spoke about the show after his departure. While he never attacked it directly, he often praised his new roles while barely mentioning Gunsmoke. To Amanda, that silence felt like erasing the years they spent working side by side. Though they never fought publicly, Amanda's disappointment in Dennis Weaver ran deep. She had once trusted him, but in the end, she saw his exit as a personal loss, and another reminder that in Hollywood, even the strongest bonds can break without warning. Number 5. Alan Ladd. Alan Ladd was a well-known Hollywood star, famous for his cool style and strong presence in films. He and Amanda Blake never worked closely on a show or movie together, but one moment changed everything between them. During a Hollywood interview in the early 1960s, Alan Ladd was asked about rising TV stars, and he made a remark Amanda never forgot. He said some actors were just pretty faces without real talent, and when pressed, he mentioned Amanda Blake by name. That single comment shattered Amanda. She had worked hard to earn her place in the industry. She was not just playing a pretty saloon owner. She brought strength, emotion, and intelligence to Miss Kitty. Amanda had always struggled to be taken seriously. As a woman in television during the 1950s and 60s, she already faced judgment and doubt. To hear someone as respected as Alan Ladd dismiss her so openly felt like a slap in the face. She never received an apology, and Ladd never took back his words. Friends said Amanda was crushed. She stopped talking about Ladd entirely and would leave the room if someone brought up his name. It was not just the insult, it was how public it was, and how it stayed with her. Alan Ladd may not have meant to start a war, but to Amanda, those few cruel words became unforgettable. From that day forward, he was no longer just another actor, he was someone she truly hated. Number 6. Larry Hagman. Larry Hagman was known for his bold personality and sharp tongue. He rose to fame with roles in I Dream of Jeannie and Dallas, and while Amanda Blake respected his talent, she could never forgive the way he treated her during one painful moment. In the late 1970s, both were invited to a charity event. It was a star-studded evening, full of Hollywood names. Amanda was excited to support a good cause and meet fans, but everything changed when she stepped on stage with Larry Hagman. Witnesses say Larry made a rude, offhand joke about Amanda's age and appearance right in front of the audience. People laughed awkwardly, but Amanda's smile faded. The joke was cruel, and she felt completely humiliated. She had always carried herself with dignity, and to be mocked so publicly by a fellow actor cut her to the core. She left the stage quickly and did not return. Those who knew her said she was deeply hurt and refused to speak to Larry ever again. Even years later, when his name came up, Amanda would change the subject or shake her head. Amanda Blake believed in respect on and off the screen. To her, Larry Hagman's behavior that night was not just rude, it was unforgivable. In her heart, it turned him into someone she would never trust again. What might have been a small moment to others became, for Amanda, a lifelong scar and one of her most painful Hollywood memories. Amanda Blake was more than just Miss Kitty. She was a strong, passionate woman who gave everything to her craft. But behind the lights and fame, she carried real pain. Her story is not just about hate, it is about loyalty, respect, and heartbreak. These 6 names represent more than conflict. They reflect the deep scars left by silence, betrayal, and public shame. Amanda stood tall through it all, but she never forgot those who hurt her. Her life reminds us that even stars can break, and that behind every smile, there may be a story the world never truly understood.